Showtime, a-holes! Welcome, everyone.
So apparently this story takes place right after Guardians, so let's keep the Marvel stories going with Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 2.
This is gonna hurt!
Promises, promises.
So we start off on this platform, where they need to stop this slug octopus thing from eating some batteries. Well, it's beating the crap out of them, so Drax decides that since it has thick skin, he's gonna let it eat him and fight it from the inside.
Skin is the same level of thickness from the inside as from the outside.
I realize that!
I guess Peter and Gamora don't realize that he could just be going after the organs to take it down, but we're giving him too much credit, and Drax doesn't think about that either.
Dude.
What is wrong with you?
Well, they notice a weak spot on its neck, so Gamora slices it open.
We've been hired to stop an interdimensional beast from feeding on those batteries, and I'm gonna stop it with a sword.
But Drax takes credit for it.
I have single-handedly vanquished the beast!
Well, do you remember how the Kryptonians were genetically engineered buttholes?
Cybernetically engineered to be a douchebag.
Well, the people who hired him are the same, but gold and...
An entire city full of people with sticks up their butts.
And it seems that the batteries that they were protecting are worth a lot of money. You know, like most batteries. So Rocket steals some, like an old lady at a grocery store.
God, you're like an old woman.
Well, they have Nebula prisoner because she stole some batteries too, and they're trading her for their services.
I have no clue as to why.
Drax tells Peter that he shouldn't date Gamora, right before some sovereign ships come to try to shoot them down for taking the batteries.
Why do they want to kill him?
I don't know why they're after us. What a mystery this is.
When Nebula stole the batteries, they only arrested her.
I am not as easy a mark as an old man without his magic stick or a talking woodland beast.
Well, Nebula broke in and took them, but the Sovereign invited the Guardians to their city, and they betrayed him. I mean, you'd be more upset if your friend took one of your toys than a stranger, right?
It is heresy of the highest order.
So to get away from them, they drive into an asteroid field. They managed to lose all those ships, but it doesn't make much of a difference because a bunch of ships went the other way and flanked them. So if they were going to do that, I don't know why they sent the other ships into the asteroid field.
I'm stupid!
But that doesn't matter either, because all the Sovereign ships explode thanks to some guy surfing on an egg.
Big wave riding, macho assholes with a death wish.
They reach a jump point and warp to this planet Bearheart. The Eggman follows them, and he and this bug lady get out of it. Turns out that the Eggman is Ego, Peter's dad.
He may have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your daddy.
On Contraxia, we see that Yondu is with a space hooker.
They have fishermen in space?
Yeah. Well, he sees this guy Stakar Ogord, but he isn't happy to see Yondu because he accepted a job to go find Ego's kid.
You'll never hear the horns of freedom when you die, Yondu. And the colors of Ogord will never flash over your grave.
Aw, so he's gonna die?
No, adults talk about their funerals all the time. This is very normal conversation.
You know, you'd think an evil supervillain would learn how to properly lie.
And then the High Priestess shows up and hires Yondu to capture the Guardians for her.
This golden gal with quite a high opinion of herself.
Ego invites him to his home, and despite his daddy issues, Peter's questioning his motives.
By the way, this could be a trap.
You Earthers have hang-ups.
Gamora talks him through it, and they decide to go, but Rocket, Groot, and Nebula stay behind to fix the ship.
We're family. We leave no one behind. Except maybe you.
While Ego takes a nap after not seeing his kid for his entire life, they talk to the bug lady, Mantis, who tells them that she can control and read emotions.
You read minds.
No. Telepaths know thoughts.
Sex. Cat.
Empaths feel feelings.
My nipples hurt, oh goodness me!
The Ravagers show up at the Milano, but Rocket has set traps and tortures them a little.
Good! I want to kill some guys!
And for a second I got a warm feeling, but then it was ruined by those disgusting ass teeth.
Until Yondu shows up.
Crap.
He tells Rocket that he just wants the batteries, and the Ravagers start a mutiny that could have been resolved if Groot hadn't released Nebula.
Beautiful people never know who to trust.
They get to Ego's place, where he tells them that he's a Celestial, which means that Peter is a demigod.
Small G, son.
The Ravagers are killing anyone who is loyal to Yondu, but stupidly not killing him. Their new captain celebrates his new position, but Rocket knocks him down a peg.
You know, they told me you people were conceited douchebags. But that isn't true at all. I'm sorry, that was meant to be behind your back.
Nebula gets some supplies and a ship and heads to Ego's planet to kill Gamora. And then she plans on hunting down Thanos for him replacing her body parts every time she lost a fight.
Oh, that son of a bitch.
Ego shows Peter how to access his powers, and then they have a catch.
After all this time, you're gonna show up and just all of a sudden you want to be my dad?
Mantis tries to tell Drax a secret, but Gamora interrupts.
Oh, man. Anyway, before I was so rudely interrupted.
Rocket and Yondu are going to be handed over to the Kree in the morning, even though the Sovereign had a bounty out for Rocket. So they use Groot to get Yondu's backup thin.
I didn't mean to do a mutiny.
There must be some kind of peaceful resolution to this, fellas. Or even a violent one, where I'm standing over there.
They take out the Ravagers and escape on a ship. Gamora expresses her concerns about Ego, but it turns into a fight. Gamora leaves, and gets into a much bigger fight. You see, Nebula's shown up, and she's decided to kamikaze her plane into Gamora. She hides in a cave, but Nebula decides to fly into that too.
You got the kamikaze look, Johnny.
When she gets stuck in the ship, Gamora picks up a gun and opens fire on her.
It's just swords were your thing and guns were mine. But I guess we're both doing guns now. I just didn't know that.
But misses her entirely. She then helps her escape the cockpit right before it explodes. She then thanks her by trying to murder her.
Family reunion, yay!
Ego comes in to check on Peter and casually tells him that he's immortal. Mantis overhears them talking and goes to Drax to tell him that Peter's in trouble.
I hear it is the thing to do to make people like you.
It turns out that Ego's been knocking up women all over the universe.
Well, it might take you a few million years of practice before you get really good at it.
And seeing if he can use them to expand himself to every planet, and then killing them if they can't, because it's easier for them to just die than to pay Yondu to take them back to where they came from, and pay him money that he can just make out of thin air.
Really?
Yes.
Well, he's not strong enough to do it on his own, so he's hoping that he can use Peter's power to fertilize the plants that he pulled from his back hair and placed behind all the Dairy Queens in the cosmos.
Seems like this establishment is the wrong kind of disreputable.
So essentially, he was a floating brain and got bored, so he grew a body to go do stuff, and now he's going to destroy all this stuff so he's the only thing in the universe where he's probably just going to get bored again.
Not a great plan.
But Ego's bond is broken when he admits that he killed Peter's mom.
No, all right. I know that sounds bad.
You killed my mother!
Ego then flips his wig and turns into David Hasselhoff.
Who?
He owned a magic boat.
Not a magic boat, a talking car.
But why?
Since Peter didn't have a dad, he used to tell kids that David Hasselhoff was his dad. He even had a picture of him from a magazine in his wallet that's actually held up better than his abduction shirt. Anyway, Ego starts the expansion by plugging Peter into the planet, and this blue snot comes out of the flowers he planted.
It's beautiful.
And we see this happen all over the galaxy, except for Asgard. I think maybe he might be afraid of Odin.
Hey!
Rocket, Groot, and Yondu meet up with the rest, and they go to rescue Peter by flying into Ego.
So we're saving the galaxy again? I guess. Awesome!
Well, they need to get to the center of the planet to destroy the core, because that's what Ego really is.
Yes, I got a penis.
The Sovereigns show up to kill the Guardians right as they reach Ego's creamy nougat of a center. Mantis puts Ego to sleep, so Quill and Rocket can send Groot into Ego's core with a bomb.
That's a terrible idea.
Nebula takes out the Sovereign ships while Yondu roleplays.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
Mantis gets knocked out right as Groot makes it to the middle.
It's like getting weird. He's showing her his big brain. She likes it.
Ego wakes up and the planet starts attacking. Groot activates the bomb, so everyone needs to get off the planet.
We need to get off this planet.
So the planet's going nuts and Gamora falls off a cliff. Nebula jumps down and catches her, so it's nice to know that she chose a good arm.
We got a whole box of hands if that one don't work out.
It is fine.
Ego changes back into human form and plugs Peter back in, so the snot bubbles start spreading all over the galaxy.
Pretty repulsive. It's disgusting.
Yondu tells him how to control his powers, and he starts fighting Ego with everything he's got. Guns, rocks, Pac-Man, you name it.
I'm gonna make some weird shit.
Ego begs him to stop the bomb because if he dies, Peter will become mortal.
You shouldn't have killed my mom and squished my Walkman.
Why would Peter change if he died?
Well, Ego gets his powers from the planet, so no planet, no power.
How does Peter get his powers from the planet if he could hold a power stone and he never even went there?
Shut up. No planet, no powers. So the bomb goes off and Ego turns into applesauce. But at the last second, Yondu flies in and gets him off the exploding planet.
Hey there, jackass!
Unfortunately, he only has one spacesuit and gives it to Peter, so when they get into space, Yondu dies.
You shut up.
They give him a space funeral where Stakar and the rest of the Ravagers show up and give him a proper send-off.
Well, dying is certainly better than having to live an entire life as a moronic shitbag.
Nebula and Gamora hug it out and discuss how they both want to kill their dad. It's nice to see sisters get along.
Touch me, and the only thing you're gonna feel is a broken jaw.
Kraglin gives Peter an MP3 player with 300 songs on it, and he gives him Yondu's arrow. Well, not to be outdone, it seems like the High Priestess has one more trick up her sleeve. But we're gonna have to wait to hear about that.
It's the next step in our evolution. More powerful, more beautiful.
Something make the other girls go, ooh, that's nice.
Now, whatever you do, push this button.
Which button is the button you're supposed to push? Point to it.
Hell yes.
You like a professional asshole or what?
Pretty much a pro.
Anyways, happy trails.